Booktube, my name is Danika, and today I'd like to talk about lesbian summer reads. This is a response to Misty's video at the Book Rat, where she talks about some of her favorite summer reads and beach reads. So I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite lesbian beach reads and summer reads. I have a pretty similar definition of a summer read to Misty. I think they should be light and easy to read and easy to get through. They should be compelling and keep you turning the pages. Some genres that I think really work well for that are manga and graphic novels, as well as young adult books. But I also have a couple of classics to share that I think would work well. So the two manga I picked are Sailor Moon and Revolutionary Girl Utena. Sailor Moon I know is a little bit of a cheat because it's not really lesbian, but it does have lesbians in it. They come in later in the series, but they're a big part of the plot, and I know that Sailor Moon has a big lesbian following, so I thought it would be a good pick. Very light, very fun to read. My second manga is Revolutionary Girl Utena, which it's less likely that you've heard of. It's an anime and a movie, and this standalone manga, as well as a manga series. It is kind of like Sailor Moon, but even more weird, lots of symbolism. It's really, really queer. There's a lot of strange things going on, and there's a lot of lesbian subtext between the main two characters, and that subtext gets pretty textual in the movie especially, so I feel like it's fair to call their entire relationship lesbian. I highly recommend the manga. I even more recommend the anime and the movie. I will link to my ridiculously detailed review because I could talk about Utena all day, but I definitely recommend picking this one up. It's really complex, it's really fascinating though, and very easy to read. I also think a good genre for a beach read would be romance novels. I don't read a lot of romance, but one of the lesbian romances I really liked was Long Way Home by Rachel Spangler. It's about a woman who left her hometown as a teenager and as a young adult because it was very homophobic, and then as an adult has come back and is trying to reconcile her past with her present and with one of the women who was also gay but stayed behind. And it's a cute romance, so I liked that one. I also picked 3 young adult books that I thought would be good reads. The Empress of the World by Sara Ryan, which is a little bit of an older one and kind of a classic of lesbian teen books. It's about 2 girls who are at a school for gifted children and a lot of their friends. They're both bisexual, I believe, and it's just sort of a coming out and also a little teen romance, and it's a good one. She's a really good writer, Sara Ryan. I also recommend Silhouette of a Sparrow by Molly Beth Griffin. It's set in the 1920s. It's about a lesbian teen in the 20s who is obsessed with birds, and it also takes place over the summer. It's kind of her coming of age story. It's got a little bit of a romance, but it's more just about her growing up, realizing who she is, coming to terms with not being her society's vision of what a young woman should be. It's very well written, it's really beautiful. I mean, just the cover alone should be enough to make you want to pick it up, and it really lives up to that beautiful cover. So that's another one that I think would be a great summer read. The last teen book I picked out is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth, which is one of my favorite books right now. It's a long book, but it is totally worth it. I reached the end and just wished there was hundreds and hundreds of pages more. So it's more of a coming of age story than a coming out story. At some point there is, mild spoiler alert, she goes to one of the Pray Away the Gay camps, which is really fascinating to read about and very skillfully done. It is so well written that I will definitely pick up anything else she ever writes just from the quality of the writing. Emily M. Danforth is so good at establishing a scene, establishing the place in the story, and a lot of the time in this story, from what I remember, it seems to take place over the summer. I think there's a lot of summer in this story, and it's just a great read for any time. The last 2 books I picked up are both sort of lesbian classics. One is Rubyfruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown, which is one of the big lesbian classics. If you want to get started in lesbian books, it's one of the best ones to pick up. It was written in the 70s, and it's also kind of a teen story, teen young adult. It's about Molly Bolt and her just going and getting into all kinds of trouble, basically. Lots of different relationships. It's kind of got risque stuff even for today, I would think. It's so fun. It's just such a fun book, and it's really quick to read. The blurb on the back says, Molly Bolt, she's funny, reckless, gutsy, and wild, a full-blooded, all-American, 100% true blue gay, and proud of it. From the 70s, which is pretty good. The last recommendation I have is Patience and Sara by Isabel Miller, which is also a bit of a classic. It's a historical novel, so I believe it was written in the 70s or 80s, but it takes place in the early 19th century. And the thing about reading lesbian books is that when I first started reading them, I really thought most of them were very depressing. There's this idea that lesbian books are depressing. We have The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall, which is the first lesbian book in English, and it is just as depressing as the title sounds. So there's this idea that in lesbian books, the lesbian always dies at the end, or goes crazy, or ends up straight. So there's a lot of depressing lesbian books out there. And when I found this one, I was so happy to read it because it's adorable. It's just this really light, fluffy love story basically about two women who run off together to start a farm. It's so cute, and I think it would make a really good, light summer read. And another good one if you're looking to read a couple of lesbian classics. So those are my recommendations for lesbian summer reads. Let me know if you have any recommendations, and thanks for watching.